Hello and welcome back to the channel. In this tutorial, I will show you how to split your audio into transient and tonal signals, similar to plugins like Fission by Vented or Quantum by Wave Factory, using only free and stock plugins in FL Studio. In order to do this, you will need the Kilohertz Essentials plugins, which are available for free on their website. I will include the link in the description below. Now, after we have installed the plugins, we can start building our patch. So let's start with an empty effect patcher and load kilohertz gate, transient chamber, and any EQ. I will use the stock EQ for simplicity. Now let's set up the transient detection. So link the main input to the EQ, then connect the EQ to the transient chamber. Next we want to add the low cut at 250 Hz. This will help the transient chamber react better to our inputs. Now open the transient chamber and set the attack to 100%, the sustain to -100%, and the speed to the max. After that, we want to duplicate our transient chamber twice and connect them together like this. The reason why we need this many transient chambers is to exaggerate the transient and make sure that every initial transient peak above 0 dB. This is necessary for triggering the gate later on. Now we need to set up a sidechain input for our gate. So right click on the gate, go to Inputs, Audio, add one. Next open the plugin and click on the gear icon at the top. Then go to Processing and change the aux to Input 1. Return to the plugin interface and change the sidechain option to input 3+4. And finally, connect the output from the transient detection chain to input 1 on the gate, and make sure it says input 1 in the hint bar. Now let's go back to the gate and set the hold to 1 milliseconds, the tolerance to 0 dB, the threshold 0 dB, and the range should be infinite. Now rename this gate to transient, then duplicate it and name the other one tonal. We want to do the same thing as we did to the transient gate. So right click, Inputs, Audio, add one, and link the transient detection chain output again to input 1. Now we're almost done. We only need to set the attack and release. In Patcher, if you hold the Alt key and left click, you can open multiple plugins at the same time. So let's open both gates. For the attack on the transient gate, the best value after a lot of testing is 5 milliseconds. If you set it lower than that, you will have unwanted clicks. And the release is where you can control the decay. So on higher values, the transient will decay slower, and on lower values, it will be shorter. But I will set it at 50 milliseconds for now. As for the tonal gate, we need to invert the values. So if the attack on the transient gate is 5 milliseconds, then the release on the tonal gate must be exactly 5 milliseconds as well. And vice versa for the attack. We also need to turn on flip mode so only the tonal signal can go through. And finally, connect the main input to both gates. Then connect the outputs to FL Studio. And we're done. Now we can do a null test to make sure that we did everything right. So what a null test is that you take the same signal and then invert the phase of it. It will cancel out with the original signal when you play them back together. So you will only be able to hear the difference if there is any. So I'm going to add stereo shaper and select the invert preset. Now let's take a listen. As you can hear, there is silence when the inverted signal is turned on, which means after the splitting, our original signal stays the same. Now we can go ahead and delete the stereo shaper and save this as a patcher preset, so you don't have to do all of this every time you need it. Let's look at few examples where this trick can be useful. So I have here a conga recording. As you can tell, the quality of the recording isn't that great. You can hear annoying resonances, especially in the mid-range frequencies. So to fix this, we can EQ the tonal signal only. That way, we keep the punchy part intact and only remove the problematic frequencies from the tonal part of the sound. Let's take a listen with and without the EQ. Let's look at another use case. I have this punchy pluck sound here, but you can tell that the reverb doesn't sound good, especially on the punchy part of the sound. So instead of applying the reverb to the whole sound, we can apply it only to the tonal signal. Let's take a listen. As you can hear, it sounds much cleaner than applying the reverb to the whole sound. Well, there's a lot of things you can do with tonal transient processing. The possibilities are endless. If you have any questions, let me know in the comments below. Thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next one.